Hi. So in this session, we will try to explain the brain function and chemistry. So let's start by presenting the key concept of our section. So beforehand, it's the chapter 29, section 5. Okay? Now, scientists study the function and chemistry of the brain. How is that been achieved? So, many new techniques that improved our understanding of the brain, because normally if we want to study the brain, we need to do, we have only two methods: dissecting the brain, or only one method. It's dissecting the brain. So dissecting the brain, if we have a dead patient, so we can dissect the brain. And if we want to do alive, so it's a surgery. So it's a complicated, it's complicated how we can study the brain. But now we have new techniques of studying the brain. The new technological advancement allowed us to do certain examinations like CT or computerized tomography. CT, computerized tomography, uses X-rays to view structure of the brain. We have magnetic resonance imaging, use magnetic or MRI, that uses magnetic fields and radio waves to view the structure of the brain. MRI. Or we have PET, positron emission tomography, detects activity where glucose is used in the brain. So it detects the activity of the brain. So we have CT, MRI, PET. These three new common technologies used to study the chemistry of the brain. So, any changes in brain chemistry can cause illness. So, let me switch it up here to the book. So, normally, beforehand, let me show you this. So, we have MRI or magnetic resonance imaging, uses X-ray, magnetic fields or radioactive sensors. Okay, we have computerized tomography or CT, we already explained it. Positron emission tomography. Now, changes in brain chemistry can cause illness. Now, our nervous system cannot work without neurotransmitters. We already established that. Now, these chemicals regulate different functions in different areas of the brain. Neurotransmitters specific to some areas of the brain. Why? Because, like hormones, they affect cells that have specific receptors, which affect the function of the whole function of the neurotransmitter is affected. So let's take a few examples, like acetylcholine. Acetylcholine involved in learning and memory. Acetylcholine involved in learning and memory. Dopamine. Dopamine primarily influence your emotions and behavior, whether you are sad or feeling in love. Let's say suddenly you heard some news that made you happy. If I want to measure the dopamine levels in your blood, it will be higher than normal. Why? Because dopamine influences the emotional behavior. Okay, and it also play some role in stress and voluntary muscles. Also, if you are stressed, like during the exam exams period. Okay, during the exams period, you are under a lot of stress. So if I want to measure your dopamine levels, I will see it, I will notice that the dopamine levels is above normal. Serotonin. Serotonin is mainly found in the hypothalamus and midbrain. It also influences mood, some muscle function, and hunger. So, if I want to measure your serotonin levels while you are saying, I'm hungry, I'm feeling hungry, okay, I will notice that the serotonin levels is higher than normal. Now, glutamate. Glutamate affects learning, memory, and brain development. Gamma amino butyric acid or GABA, GABA. Again, gamma amino butyric acid or GABA is found throughout the brain. So, throughout the brain, I will see this GABA hormone, chemical substance. Unlike other neurotransmitters, when GABA binds to a neuron's membrane, for some reason it prevents the neuron from generating an impulse. So, we can find this gamma aminobutyric acid throughout the membrane, but not unlike the other neurotransmitters. If it binds to a certain neuron, it will prevent that neuron from generating impulse. So, when our brain produces the correct amount of these neurotransmitters, the levels of these neurotransmitters are in normal state, so we are maintaining homeostasis. We are maintaining homeostasis. Okay? Now, if our body, your body, produce too much or too little of a neurotransmitter, the areas of your brain that are targeted by that chemical will be more or less active. And this is what we can see during the MRI, the PET, the CT. We have the normal imaging of the brain and the normal activity, and we compare it to other images, and we can detect if something wrong with you. Okay, so we have, this is like, for example, if you notice this figure, this is a PET images. This is the normal brain. This is schizophrenic brain, and this is depressed. So schizophrenia, let me define it in a simplest of ways. It's the transmission from your reality state to delusional state. So the schizophrenic person, a delusional person. So it's a very serious disease, by the way. So this is the schizophrenic PET. This is depressed PET. This is normal PET. So yes, we have some clinical depression because we can detect clinical depression via imaging like this. So other illness such as Parkinson's disease and schizophrenia are linked to abnormal amounts of dopamine. So dopamine levels are different. Parkinson's disease is caused by low amount of dopamine in certain areas of the brain. Okay? People with Parkinson's disease have difficulty controlling their movement, maintaining their balance, and starting movements. So let's do something here. So dopamine primarily influence the emotional behavior, okay, play a role in stress and voluntary muscles. So since it's play a role in voluntary muscles and we have something wrong in the levels, so Parkinson's disease also, the movement, they have problems controlling movement. Good. So many patients with Parkinson's take drugs that increase the amount of dopamine in order to balance the level of the dopamine. Schizophrenia is mental disorder that cause hallucinations, irrational behavior, and illogical speech. It's treated with drugs that block dopamine receptor in the brain because it's much, you will find in the schizophrenic brain much higher dopamine levels. So we give drugs that block the dopamine levels. It may level out the dopamine inside the brain and minimize the schizophrenic status of this person. Depression also is linked to low amount of serotonin because we have low amount. If you remember, serotonin play a role in mood, okay, and some muscle function, mood. Let's say we are suddenly you are in the mood to listen to music. If I want to measure your serotonin level, I'll find it higher. The same thing with depression. Depression, very low amount of serotonin. So the patient will be treated by serotonin drugs, and it will increase the serotonin level and enhance the mood of the patient. So I'll stop here. We will continue our lesson, but to wrap it up and sum our lesson today. So scientists cannot study the brain in classical ways like dissecting or surgery. So we turn to technology. Technology gave us three methods: the computerized tomography, the magnetic resonance imaging (MRI), and the positron emission tomography, which is the PET. So CT uses X-ray to view the structure, MRI magnetic fields and radio waves to view the brain structure, while PET detects activity, where glucose is used in the brain. So this is our lesson today. I hope you understood. We will continue next lesson about the changes in the brain exactly. I hope you'll be prepared. I need you to read the upcoming pages to prepare it, and I hope during the live session we will do a discussion. That's it for today. Thank you. Goodbye.